here is our next two-way table. You'll see that we have a choice between school or work and car and bike. Now, this two-way table is missing something really important, and it's not always put in a question, and that is a total. Now, we can add a total to both the end here and the bottom to better help answer our questions. So let's do that now. So here I have my total, and I'm going to add up the amount of people go to school. So we have 10 plus 12, which is 22. Here I have 25 and 2, so I would have 27 people that go to work. So we've now added a total part to our school and work. So let's add a total part to our car and bike. I've added my total. We have 10 and 25, so all up the number of people who have or take their car to work or school is 35. And then 12 plus 2 is 14. So that means that 14 people take their bike to school or work. Now, in this last little bit here, this is where we put the total number of people in this survey. So what we can do is we can add up the bottom two. So 22 plus 27 is 49. And one way to check that you've done this correctly is if you add these two numbers, you will also get 49. The 35 plus 14 is 49. So we've done this correctly. This is really useful because you might have a question which asks, how many people go to school? And what you can do is you can just read, well, the total number of people that go to school, 22. You might be asked, what's the total number of people in this survey? Well, you've got it here. It's 49. So we can use this total part of our two-way table to quickly answer any question you might have. So let's do a couple of questions regarding this one. So there's a couple of different style of answers we need for answering questions regarding a two-way table. One might be, what proportion of people? So if you see the word proportion, or the word probability, you know that you're going to have to write the answer as a fraction. Oops, we are still on the page. Awesome. Alright, so we're going to have to write this as a fraction. Other type of question you might see is if it just asks you how many people, then you know that you are just going to have to write a number. Another question that might be asked is, what is the percentage? Well, we know that we can turn any probability into a percentage by finding its fraction and then multiplying it by 100 and adding a percent sign. But let's do couple of questions, which I'll rub this out and write some down for. Alright, here are our questions. Magic of video editing. We have 3 different questions. They're all similar, but they ask things in very different ways. And the English is what you're going to have to be careful about here, not so much the maths. So the first question says, bike to school. So how many people here bike to school? Now you'll notice that it uses 2 very key words, bike, school. So you're going to have to look at this two-way table and then notice that this is the school column and this is the bike column. So we know that it's going to be this number here. So the answer is going to be 12. Let's write that in now. So this is 12. Oops. The next question uses their car. Now you'll notice that this only uses 1 key word, car. Now if we have a look at our two-way table, we are just looking at the car because the car is the only key word in that sentence. So the amount of people that use their car. Well, we know from this two-way table that the total number of people that use their car is 35. So the answer is going to be 35 because we're only looking at the people who use their car. So let's write that in. All right. The last question is a not question. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to identify the key word, being school, and then we don't want school. We want not school. So you first identify the school column, the school word, and then we don't want it. So this is the school column, but we don't want it. So that means we're looking at this column because we've gotten rid of that one. So the number of people who do not go to school is 27. Let's write that in. Now, a different wording for that question, we're going to have a look at some proportional amounts next. So this one can be a little bit trickier again in terms of the English because we're going to add a new word called given. But hopefully you can now read a two-way table and get the basics from it. Let me rub these out and we'll do a couple more. Right, here is our next 2 questions. What proportion of people take their car to work? And given they work, how many bike to work? So these are 2 very different questions, but they sound similar. Now, the key word you need to look out for is this word given, or something saying that we're looking at these people specifically. So it might be of the people that work, how many bike to work? So a statement that says we're looking at one group of people. Given is a very common word to use in a textbook example for this type of question. So let's have a look at A. Take their car to work. So we're just looking at everyone. So how many people out of everyone in our two-way table take their car to work? Well, this is the car section, and this is the work section. So this number here, 25, is the number of people who take their car to work. We're going to write 25. However, we want this as a proportion of the total number of people that were in this survey. And we can see here from our number that the total number of people is 49. So let's write 49 as the denominator. So that is the proportion of people who take their car to work out of everyone. Now this second question, this word given, as I said, looks at a specific group of people. We only want to look at the people that work. So it says here, given that they work. So that means we're only looking at the people in the work section. So given that they work, so they have to work, so that's why we don't care about anyone else at the moment, is if they work, or given they work, how many people bike to work? So how many people bike to work? Well, hopefully it's starting to be a bit easier, and you can see that 2 people bike to work. So let's write that over here. So we have our 2. Now, this is out of how many people that go to work. So the number of people that work is 27. So the proportion or the fraction would be 2 out of 27. Just as a quick summary, given or something like if they work or given they work, that means that we are only focused on one group of people. So either one row or one column.